Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another morning of stamping. I am Sarah Simon, and I'm coming to you from a very sunny and it's supposed to be a nice day here in Appleton, Wisconsin. I'm so happy to be stamping with you this morning. Let's see, who do we have who has jumped on already? I see Julie. Sunny and 33 in North Dakota. Awesome. Michelle from Puerto Vallarta. I'm sure it's nicer there than it is here. Nancy and Mary and Kelly. And oh, Mary wants to know how Lila's doing. I'll give you guys on the Lila update. And Dee and Myra and Amanda and Lisa and Karen and Betty. Thank you guys all for jumping on. I think I said Linda, but Linda, hello, good morning. So this week was a little bit eventful. Monday was a little bit eventful at my usually very uneventful home. So I brought my dog Lila. She's a golden doodle. She's 9 years old, and I brought her to be groomed. And we've been going to this groomer for about a year. And maybe like two times ago, she let me know when I got there. I nicked her ear a little bit, but we put some stuff on it. It stopped bleeding. Just wanted to let you know. I was like, okay, not a problem. Well, Monday I came to pick her up. So I drop her off at on my way into work. So I can drop her off anytime after 7. I usually get there about 7:20. And then I pick her up after work, which is about I get out of work at 4. So I get there a little after 4. Well, I got there and they're both just standing there, and Lila was the only dog left. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Am I running late? Am I Lila the last dog? And they said, well, I nicked her ear pretty good and we can't get the bleeding to stop. I think it's stopped now. It's been about a half an hour before she's squirt like flying blood everywhere when she shakes her head. And I'm like, ah. So I look at her and they've got this bandage wrapped around her head and tied on the top. She's in a crate, and the two of them, it's a husband and wife, are sitting and looking at watching her. So of course, when she sees me, she gets excited and she's got this bandage on her head. So she's going to shake her head. And so all of a sudden, again, the blood hadn't stopped. So there's blood everywhere. Like she's shaking her head and blood is flying. I've got it in my hair. I've got it on my face, was on my clothes, in my car. But the groomer, I haven't had a chance to really look at how bad the cut is. And she says, I really think you should probably get her into your vet. Well, it's now like 4:15. I'm like, I'm not going to be able to get her into my vet, but I tried. I called. And no success. So they recommended two places I could possibly go. Called the first one. They said they didn't have room for her. So the other one's a 24/7. Called there. They said it could be up to a 2 hour wait. And I'm like, oh gosh, do I bring her in? Do I not? She's like, there's blood in my car and everything. So I'm like, I'm just going to bring her. So we're the only ones in the waiting room. Only people in the waiting room at all. When I get there, I'm like, 2 hour wait? I get it. They've got surgeries and stuff like that probably going on in the back and stuff. But they take her in for her vitals, and now she's got blood on the floor in the entrance in the vet's place, on the chair that I'm sitting on. It's like all over the place. And so they take her back for her vitals. The lady comes back and she's got blood on her because when Lila gets nervous, she shakes her head a lot. And so every time she was shaking her head, blood was flying everywhere. So they call me back and I talk to one of the vet techs. We get the stuff all arranged. She goes, you can go back in the waiting room because it's a lot more comfortable chair than here. So I go back. We're still the only ones in the vet place. So then somebody else comes in, they get in right away and they go out. And I'm like, wait a minute. What what's going on here? I have no idea why, but they went in and went out. Uh Let me just say 3 hours later, after I had talked to somebody at a receptionist desk, there were three different ladies that worked at the receptionist desk. I talked to each one of them to see, is Lila still in the queue to like, is she because other people have come in and gone out, and Lila still hasn't been seen. By this time, I've calmed her down and I've gotten the bleeding to stop. So I'm thinking, I'm just going to go home, right? But what if there's an infection, or what if it breaks open when she gets home? She scratches at it or something. Is there something I need to worry about? I don't know, because she lost a lot of blood. And they said that the ears bleed a lot. So finally, the third receptionist, every one of them I've asked, can you just ask the doctor if he thinks it's okay if I take her home? And so um, finally, this third one puts me in a room. About 10 minutes later, the vet comes in. He looks at her and he says, there's nothing I can do for her anymore. See, the people who groomed her said they'll probably be able to put some glue in there and glue it shut so it stops bleeding. He said, I can't do that anymore because you got the bleeding to stop and it's actually, like scabbed over kind of already. And there's nothing I can do. Had I done it right away, yes, I could have done that right when you brought her here, but I can't do it anymore. So I'm like, oh, great. So 3 hours. But he did say to me, I'm not going to charge you anything. They should have come and asked me to just take a look at her real quick, to know if you asked 3 times, they should have done what they did this third time. They should have done the first time. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness. Because at this hospital, it can cost a lot of money to bring your dog there. So that was the only good news in all of it. Then I'm like, the invoice that the groomer gave me. Now, they probably wrote this in the morning when she first arrived, but they had highlighted on there. Could you please go to Google and give us a review? So that when people search a groomer, we pop up to the top. And I'm like, okay, after this had happened, I think I would have written out a new invoice without having that on there and having it highlighted. I can laugh about it now, but I wasn't laughing about it on Monday. And so that was my day that I was supposed to finish up everything for my card buffet, because I had something on Tuesday, I had something on Wednesday, and now I just lost 3 hours plus all the stress of it. So, oh my goodness, it was a crazy, crazy day. Crazy story. But anyway, let me share with you some of the cards that I received in the mail. I received this from Kathy Palmer. I placed an order for her, and she was sending me the payment for it, and sent a card with it. That's beautiful. All right. I'm sorry to tell you this whole story, but I was like, oh my gosh, it was such a day. Um, then we have prizes to give away, right? So last week we were playing with some of the new online exclusives, and I did miss some of your questions. Like, there's a lot of you who have jumped on that I haven't said hello to. So if I haven't said hello to you, hello and thank you for joining me. Um, but we used this new stamp set with some of the new DSP and the new embossing folder. And this is an online exclusive. Several people were asking, where do I find this? I don't see it in the catalog. It is an online exclusive. We have a matching envelope. And then we played with the all zipped up as well and made this masculine card, birthday card. And for commenting last week, this was number 66. And I give all of you a number. So anytime you comment, it can be live here in YouTube. It could be in the YouTube replay. It can be in Facebook. I usually do 2 posts in Facebook. One of them tells you the video is coming the next day, and then the actual video itself. And I look at both of those, and I give everybody a number. And winning this time was Latokia Trigg. And Latokia, I just looked in my pirate ship account, and I do not have an address for you. So you must be a first time winner with me. So if you could send me either a private message in Facebook, I'm at Create with Sarah, or you could email me at createwithsarahllc@gmail.com and send me your address. I will get these off in the mail to you. And then for sharing, so anytime you share on Facebook, you email somebody, however you share my link or get the word out there that I have this video, that's how my business grows. You also get entered into a drawing. Now, I can't always see that you've shared, so just like Diane did on Facebook, and let's see, and Sarah did on YouTube, if you could just put that you shared, that will get you into a drawing to win other prizes. So these are some of our new sequins that go with our Thankful Garden suite of products. These are going to number 8 on my drawing, who was Denise Umloff. So Denise, I will get these out in the mail to you. And then if you place an order, I do not have a hostess code right now. Um, I've mentioned it before. Stampin' Up! Is doing away with those in April, so I just didn't start another one. But anytime you do place an order, I do go and I look at who has placed orders, and I do put you into a drawing to win prizes. And winning this detailed succulent, which is an online exclusive as well, has some awesome sayings like "I'm so sorry." You could send that for a sympathy, happiest birthday, you're on my mind. Just a layered, like double set. This is going to Julie Grassel. So, Julie, I will get this off in the mail to you. Goodness, you are the big winner because did you win last week? You did win last week. And I have those to send to you. Those just came yesterday. So I will get those off in the mail. I think they came yesterday. I have to look at my order because I had an order that came yesterday. And I think what you won last time is in there. I'm going to set this over here. I have to clean my office today. I don't have anything else that I absolutely have to do except for my taxes. And I'll put off that any day of the week. I have to get all my stuff ready to go out for my taxes. And I'm like, I can't even spread it out on my desk right now because stuff's going to get lost. I have it all in an envelope, a big manila envelope, and I have to kind of go through everything and sort it and write everything down so I can send it off on Monday so that they get done and sent in by April 15th. So, yes, hello, Melanie. You did make it live today. That's really early for you where you are, I know. All right, I have one last board. Let me share my screen here. My last celebration board that we have to do. So I'm going to shuffle these. I only put the numbers in there that are filled. Let's see, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers that didn't get filled. So we still got to number 20 on board number. This is board number 5, which is pretty amazing. So I didn't get a chance to get to all of you. So what I did was I just gave you a number if you had numbers coming. Um, so let's see what we have here. Number 7. Okay, let me look at number 7. Let me close that and we'll come back here and stop sharing my screen. And we'll go to let's do this. And number 7 is Melanie. Melanie, you won last time. Not last time. I think the second board you won as well. You are our lucky winner, Melanie, with number 7. So I will reach out to you so that you can let me know what you would like for $25. All right, so let me turn my overhead light off and then we are going to start stamping. After that long story of Lila, it's time to get stamping, right? She's probably thinking I'm calling her. She's probably going to be in here right away going, "What do you want, Mom? You just called my name." All right, I'm going to go away from comments for just a little bit so that I can put our dimensions up here for the card that we're going to be making. So our first card, we are going to feature Thankful Garden, which is a new stamp set. Now, Thankful Garden comes with, and I don't have one of the dies in here because it is in a box that I have ready for my card buffet for next week. All right. But it comes with, there's this hydrangea, which we're going to use today. There's this other flower. I don't know if that's supposed to be a pansy, maybe. I don't know. And then different greetings. These are different centers that you can stamp onto the flowers. And then it has dies to cut the stuff out. It also has where you can cut out a section of the hydrangea so you could raise that up or do a little clump somewhere. It also has where you can cut out this smaller flower. That's this one right here. You can cut out just that smaller flower. So if you wanted to add another one, or if you wanted to raise one of them and put the other one down flat, you could do that. A lot of different options with that. Just a fun stamp set. Now, I'm always like, oh, I have so many floral stamps, right? So I hesitated, should I do this one today? But I decided I love this stamp set, so I'm going to share it. My second one is not going to be a floral card. This does come with some decorative masks. So you have a variety of options for coloring these in. You could use, I've seen people use our watercolor pencils and just add a little bit of color to it. I've seen people who have used our blends and colored them in with the blends. And then the other option is our decorative masks. And there are actually 5 of them. So it gives it, each one of them gives a little bit of dimension. 3 of them, 1, 2, and 3 are for the floral image, and then 4 and 5 are for the leaves to give it a little bit of dimension. I didn't clean these off after I used them last night. This was the first card that I did last night. I obviously didn't clean them off. And then for both of our cards today, I'm going to be using the dies in the Everyday Arches. So this is a die set. Even if you don't like, I love these because you can put greetings on the actual arches. But these dies, I have been finding that I'm drawn to them. I'm drawn to cards that I'm seeing online. So many people are using them for in a variety of different ways. So I'm going to show you 2 different ways that I use them today. Both of them are fun folds. And instead of using a circle or instead of using a square, or now we've got our rectangles that came with the new dies, these are just a unique shape to be able to use. And you can use them sideways, you can use them straight on. I think I used them once with a card that I did that was a thinking of you card with our yellow, that delightful wishes stamp set. So let's go ahead and get to stamping. So let me give you the dimensions here. So we are going to start our first card that we're going to make, and I'm going to do the cutting with you. This is going to be a, I think it's called a Dutch door. And this is thick, basic white. And I should let you know that Stampin' Up! Has announced this week that our thick basic white is no longer going to be available in the 8.5 by 11. It will only be available in the 12 by 12 starting in the new catalog. So if you use a lot of white bases, anytime I use a white base, I use our thick. Otherwise, I use our regular basic white. But if you find yourself using thick basic white quite a bit, you may want to stock up on that. Prices are also going up on our cardstock. So our cardstock is going to be everything's going to be in packages of 24. So right now, the basic white and very vanilla come in packages of 40. I think the very vanilla does. Yes, I'm pretty sure it does. They are all going to be coming in 24, and it's going to be $14 for a pack. So if you wanted to stock up on some of that before it goes up, now would be the time to do it. The new catalog comes out on May 6th, I believe it is. Okay, so I am going to, this is the front of my card. I'm going to cut down 2 3/4 of an inch, and I'm going to cut that off. So I'm going to go to where my score line is at 4 1/4. And along the side, I'm going to bring this up here so you can see that maybe a little bit better. There's a ruler. So I'm going to look for 2 3/4, which is right there. And I'm going to cut down to there. And there's like little things on the side for me to guide. So I'm going to cut down to 2 3/4. Okay, then I'm going to put this in my track at 2 3/4, and I'm going to cut down to that score line at 4 1/4. And I'm just going to cut this right out. Now, if you wanted to, you could die cut one of the arches that we're going to be using, but I did that already for us because I was also going to be um, embossing it. So that right there is our card base. And then I'm using some of the paper that goes with, and I should have brought all of the paper out here to show you what it looks like. You know what? Let me go grab. I have a little sampler that I made for all of my team members. I'm just going to go grab that so I can show you. Goodness. I have a couple of team members that couldn't make it, so I have to get theirs out in the mail to them. So this is what I made for them for as a little gift. So it has the name, it's called Lovely Garden, and it has the colors that are being used. And these are all of the papers that are in it. So we've got some of the hydrangea. That's a beautiful paper. And there's like some blacks and whites. This is one of them that we're going to be using. There's fresh freesia. There's some blacks. So that is the paper. So I used this pattern, and this one I did in 4 by 5 1/4. And then there's another all garden green, and this I cut at 2.5 by 4. So these are going to look like that. All right, I kind of liked how the basic white just looked really nice on that. Okay, that's all I have for dimensions. I'm going to go back to my comments. I missed some. Hello, Robin, and let's see, Karen. Okay. I know, Karen, right? You feel like you have so many flowers stamp sets, but you love this. So, all right, I cut out, and let's see if I can let you know which one this is. This one, I think, is the fifth one in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, it's the fourth one. Yes. I think for both of them, I used the fourth one in then. Okay, and then I embossed this with our exposed brick embossing folder. And I cut the first one that I made, I cut this a little bit smaller for the inside, and my greeting just barely fit on it. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to cut at the exact same size. So I have 2 of those cut. I have a scrap of white for us to stamp our floral image, and we'll cut that out, color it, cut it out. And then I have a 1/2 inch strip of basic black that's going to be our greeting. Okay, so that is what we are going to use for this card. So let me get my stamps in here. Got a bucket here of other things. We're going to use some pearls, iridescent pearls. We're going to use some of that white ribbon, and we're going to color it. And I've got my stamps. I'm going to just throw those right up there. Myself a little bit of room here. All right, I am going to start with this scrap. And I am going to stamp. This again is Memento ink, even though it says white. Okay, I've said this a couple of times, but I took a white pad and put Memento ink on it. So I'm just going to give that a good stamp. It's a bigger image. So I just want to make sure that looks pretty good. All right, and then on the inside of my card, we're going to stamp thankful for you, friend. I'm just going to stamp that right in the center. So that's going to be on the inside. And then on this strip of paper here, I'm going to get all the stamping done so then I can put that out of the way. You know what? This color goes with the card. All right. I'm going to use our Versamark, which I had a Versamark here. Here it is. And I'm using the You Make a Difference. And I just did a 1/2 inch strip. I'm going to just cut this down. Right. And then we have our white embossing powder. I don't even think I have my tweezers here right now. I didn't use my embossing buddy, but I did a pretty good job on that. I don't have a lot of little specks of white anywhere. I'm going to set this off to the side because I'm going to heat that later so that I can use it again, because through the magic of TV, I have that heat embossed already for us. I love how white looks on black. I just think it looks so nice. All right, let's put this off to the side. I'm going to actually put it on the floor to give myself a little bit of room. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to color this. Now, I've been featuring all of our in colors that are going to be retiring. And so today we've got Moody Mauve. So Moody Mauve is a really pretty pink. It goes really nicely with our bubble bath. I've always used it. I've paired it with that a lot. And I've liked how it looks. Today we're going to pair it with some garden green. All right, so that's going to be our color combination here. So with our masks, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my, this is just some Post-it note tape. You can get this in different sizes, and I get mine on Amazon and just have it delivered to my house. I do that all with a lot of things. I know I shouldn't, but I do. All right, I'm going to start with number 1. And what I've done is I have sprayed some of our pixie spray, not our. I get this at, I've gotten it at, why can't I think of the name of the place right now? I can picture it. You could get it at any craft store, really. But you could also order this online as well. And you just lightly spray the back, and it's a little bit tacky, so it holds it in place so that I just have to tape my image down, and I don't have to tape each one of these things down in place every time I use it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to match this up where our leaves are, and it's actually pretty easy to match this one up. Now you can do a couple of things. You could take a pen and you could just mark where this little notch is right here in the corner. There's like a little notch in the corner of it. And then you could also mark kind of where that corner is so that you could line those up. You could also take your blending brush and you could just kind of blend there so that it would make a little image of it as well. I've got it marked with a pen. I'm just going to leave it at that. For my very first layer, I'm using Moody Mauve for every single, I'm going to just use 2 of the 3 layers. And I'm going to use it for both of them instead of combining colors. I am going to make this first one really light. So I am just very light-handedly running some ink over the top of these flowers. I don't want to get that big like bunch of ink there. So I am very careful to tap that off before I run it over. So right now it looks like, oh my gosh, did you even put anything on there? But look at that, I did. Okay, it's just very, very light. Now I don't want to pick it up because I have this set so that I can go ahead and find number 2. So number 2 is right here. And you can kind of see, I don't know if you can see that number, probably not. Yeah, you can kind of see that number 2 etched in there. Yes, you can just wash your mats. I just put them right underneath my sink, Ella, and I just washed them that way. And I should have done that last night, but I was up later than I really wanted to be, getting ready. And by the time I was ready to go to bed, I was really ready to go to bed. And I thought that I washed them, but I guess I didn't. Now this time I'm not going to wipe as much off, and I'm just going to go a little bit darker. So I matched up that corner, So now I know I have it set right where it needs to be. And I'm going to press just a little bit harder. And I'm going to go over it just a little bit more to make this a darker shade. Now I'm going to be die cutting this out. So if I get pink over there, moody mauve over there, it doesn't matter because I'm going to be die cutting this. Okay. So you can kind of see, I shouldn't have picked that up because I got to do the green yet, but the green is actually pretty easy. So I've got a lighter color is my first one, and then I've got a darker color coloring in the rest of it, which I love that. Let's see if I can, I don't know if I've got this right or not. It doesn't matter. The green's actually pretty easy to line up. The hydrangea is a little bit easier to line up than the other flower is. So even if you don't have, if I don't have it lined up perfectly, look at that. I do pretty well though. I did pretty well. Okay. And again, I'm just going to press on this because I put some of that pixie spray on there so it'll hold it in place. And this is garden green. And again, I'm going to really tap off a lot of it. I'm going to be very light-handed when I go to do my first layer. Okay, and then when I have like kind of more of the, I don't know if you call those the veins of the leaves, um, then I'm going to go. I did pick this up, so it might not match up perfectly because I wanted you to see that. So now I'm going a lot darker to show the little dimension that's in there. Okay, so that's how you use the masks. You don't have to use the masks, but if you buy this as a bundle, the masks actually come with it. So now what I would do, Ella asked the question, do you just wash this off? Yes, I would just go to my sink. I would run it underneath my sink and it'll all just wash right off. And I'll do that after the video. And then I usually just take a paper towel and dry it. Okay, I'm going to get the dye for this. Let's see, it's right here. And I don't have this one through the magic of TV. So I'm going to go ahead. I'll get it all ready here and then I will take it to my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and I will put it on there. I like to break these in half. I have some skinnier ones too. So I'm going to go ahead and line this up. So I kind of line the leaves up and then I line the petals up and then I just put a couple pieces of tape. Now, if you don't have this tape, a Post-it note will also work. So I have that right on there ready to run through my machine. I'm going to quickly do that off camera. All right. Now, if you were doing this without die cutting it, you would have to be careful. You might want to put like a Post-it note or something over there to make sure that you don't get ink onto the layer if you are not going to be die cutting it out. I knew I was going to be die cutting it out, so I didn't care. I was not as cautious as I could have been. Just set these here for now. And there is our beautiful hydrangea. Love that. All right, let's go ahead and put this away again and bring all of our pieces in here and start assembling. So for this, I'm going to put, I don't want that gold. See, I have linen thread. I've got gold thread. I leave it sitting by my desk so it's easy to just grab if I'm looking for something to add to a card. I always have one that's just kind of sitting here. All right, and then we've got our other green. Oh, look at how pretty that is. It's hard to put tape on it, right? But you've got to use that designer paper up. You've got to use it up. Okay, so we're going to put that there. On the front, this is our front layer. We're going to pop this up. Actually, let's put this on first. We'll add these and then we'll pop that up. So this is just going to set up here so that when it opens, it stays with the front. And then we're going to have another one on the inside that will match up with that. So I think I'm going to use dimensionals on the outside one. There we go. I got a brand new. I'm like, where are my big ones? I only had small ones sitting there. I forgot that I cut the very last ones up. So I'm going to put some along the bottom. And then I'm going to come to the top of my little door that opens. I think it's called a Dutch door. All right, I'll pull these off. I'm making myself a stack of things that I have to throw away when I'm done, so I don't have to keep reaching across to my little garbage that's on my desk. All right, so we're going to line that up. It's nice to kind of line it up against there so it looks like it's straight. And then we'll pop these up on dimensionals. Again, I like to use a lot of dimensionals because I want to make sure when it goes through that machine at the post office, if it's going to be machine stamped, that, or not stamped, but you know how they cancel it or whatever. I want to make sure that it doesn't crush it. So it's just going to kind of go on an angle there. Right, and then I'm going to take this is going to go in here. To match it up, I am going to line it up. I'm going to actually, let's put tape on it before we line it up with that. So once we have it lined up, it doesn't move. So I'm lining this up with that other arch and I'm closing it. I didn't push it down real tight because I wanted to make sure it was straight. It looks really straight. So I can go ahead and push that down so that I don't see it. So in the card that I made as my sample, I used a size smaller, but it really looked like this greeting was crammed on there. Okay, Ella asked a question. Does the sticky wash off? Over time, Ella, the sticky does wash off a little bit. Are you talking about my pixie spray? It does. Like over time, you can see like this one isn't as sticky as it was when I first sprayed it. So if I need to spray it again, I just take it and I just kind of go like this and give it just a little bit of spray. And now this is, it's tacky again. Okay, it says right on it that it's a light tack repositionable adhesive for stencils is what it's called. Right, and I ended up getting mine. I think I got mine at Hobby Lobby. Why couldn't I think of the name of that store before? Goodness, I'm there all the time. All right, I'm going to just cut these on a slant like that. And this is just going to go onto there. And what I did was I took our mini dimensionals and I found a spot like right there. Looks like it's going to be flat. And right here, it's going to be flat. And I put those. And then in the center, I just took some of my adhesive. And if you use liquid glue, you could do the same thing. I just didn't want, since my flower is raised up, I didn't want to just put dimensionals on the back of this. I wanted to be very intentional about where my dimensionals were so that, there we go. It wasn't on two different layers, like this one that's raised up and then this one that's flat. All right, I wanted to add a little bow on here, and we have our 1/4-inch weave ribbon, which I love this, but the white didn't show up on there very well. So what I did was I cut myself a piece of this and I took my Moody Mauve Stampin' Blend. This is the light one. And I'm just going to lightly color this. Now, when I do classes, I don't like to do this on the most part because you can really damage the tips of your markers if you are not careful with it. So you may even want to use the bullet tip. It takes a little bit longer because it doesn't cover as much of the ribbon all at once. But I'm just lightly putting this over here so that I'm not damaging my tip. But like I said, if I were to do this in class, I probably would have maybe done the black and white ribbon, or I might have done something else instead of doing that, because it can be real easy with a lot of different people using your marker. See, my tip is just fine, but I knew I was being very careful with it. I'm going to bring my bow maker in here, and we will just go ahead. All thumbs today for some reason. All right, and we can trim that. I don't know that I've got my best, there we go, ribbon scissors here, but it will do. Okay, and I'm going to take a glue dot and we'll pop that right above the greeting, kind of where the stem is here, just to give a little bit of that moody mauve color. Okay, I might actually push that in there a little bit harder. I think because of the ink that's on there, it wasn't wanting to stick. And then I have our iridescent pearls, which I love these. I think I've mentioned it before. I think if you're looking for a tiny gem, this is the tiniest one that we have that I've found. And I'm just going to, I know this is a lot of these to put on there, but they are really tiny. I'm just going to, the bigger flowers here that are in the darker moody mauve, I'm just going to pop them, one of these in the center of each of them, because it looks so cool. All right, did I miss any other questions? I love the bow maker. Only way I can make bows. I can actually usually make pretty good bows, but I need a little bit more ribbon than I need when I use it with my bow maker, because my bow maker helps a lot where I have fat fingers. And so when I'm making it, I just need a little bit more ribbon, and then I end up cutting a lot of it off. Okay, so there is that. Now I think I Wink Stella'd this as well. So if you wanted to, you could come in and add to all of these. I did it to all of these bigger flowers that had the pearls, but you need to be careful if you do the Wink of Stella first and it's still wet, it hasn't completely dried, I think. It's sometimes can be hard to stick your gems that are self-adhesive onto it if you have your Wink of Stella on there. So it is best if you can to put the Wink of Stella afterwards. So there's our little hydrangea card. You make a difference. Thankful for you, friend. I just thought, what a nice card, a beautiful card for spring, especially. And my hydrangeas that I have at my house are all pink. So I was like, perfect. I wanted to use Moody Mom. So now I just have copper clay that I have to use next week. But there is our card. And I didn't do anything for the envelope. Let me see. I think I have some of the designer paper here that I can cut a little strip. I do. Let's cut this at 6 by 2¼ is what I usually cut that at. Let's do 2¼ This was kind of going the wrong way. This is the better way. Okay, so this is longer than 6, but then it's going the correct. The leaves were looking weird when they went like that. So we'll go ahead and add a little bit of glue onto our flap. That on there. And we'll trim around it. Hi, Mary. Good morning, Jan. Sorry if I'm missing comments. I get into stamping and then I forget to look at my comments. Wonder if there are any questions. I'm looking at them right now. So if you have a question about anything that I did, about any of the product, now would be a good time to type it in. If you typed it before and I missed it, I'm looking right now. So now would be a good time. And there is a little bit of a delay. Whoops, I don't know why this does not want to stick on here. There we go. I don't know if it's the color that's on it. My other one is on there just fine from last night. So there is our card number 1 with our hydrangea. All right, I don't see any other questions that popped up. So I'm going to go on to, so this was the stamp set again. This was my sample. All right, I'm going to go on to card number 2, which if you like the arches like I do, in the on the online exclusives, there is another stamp set that has some different arches that you can use with those dies. And so I am going to use this stamp set for our next card, which is also going to be a fun fold. I saw this from Mary. I got the dimensions and stuff from Mary Deathridge. Um, she's another one I did. Amy Kay was one that I talked about last week. Mary's another one that I probably look at almost daily. And let's see, I love the glue dot from PP for bows. Okay, from PP. I don't know what PP is. All right. But anyway, this was nice because it's not floral. I feel like this you could use for kids, you could use it for men, you could use it for adults. I made it last night, and then when I was laying in bed this morning trying to tell my body it was time to get up. Oh, paper pumpkin. Yes, yes, Lisa, I would agree that the glue dots that are in paper pumpkin seem to be a little bit better than our mini glue dots. I do like them. So this is nice because again, it's not floral, it's something different. It could be used for a woman, man, child. And as I was laying in bed this morning, like I said, trying to tell myself that it was time to get up, um, I decided, you know what, I'm going to remake that second card that I did, and I'm going to make it into a gift card holder for birthdays. Because so often, if you do a teen card, which this could be a teen card, you want to, I know for when my nieces and nephews were teenagers, the only thing that I could think of to give them for their birthdays a lot of times was a gift card, because that's what they wanted more than anything, right? All right, so let's look at our dimensions for this. So I'm going to go away from comments for just a little bit, and so I can give you these dimensions. So our card base is going to be in blueberry bushel. Look at that. And it is 3.5 by 10.5. So all I had to do is cut a 1/2 inch off of our 11-inch side. And I scored it at 3.5 from each end. So this is 3.5, this is 7, and then the whole thing is 10.5. So each one of these little sections is 3.5 by 3.5, if that makes sense. Then I'm going to be using as a mat for my DSP, I'm going to be using Azure Afternoon. I loved how these colors look together. Look at that. And these are each 3 3/8 by 3 3/8. Okay, so it's just 1/8 of an inch smaller. Then from our annual catalog, is this Bold and Beautiful? I think it's called. I don't remember. It's got really, really cool images for different birthday cards. So I did this. So each of these is 3.25 by 3.25. Now, if you wanted to, and you wanted to be able to get more out of a sheet of paper, getting more out of a sheet of paper would mean that they'd have to be 3 by 3, because then you could get 4 of them out of a sheet instead of 1. So if you did those 3 by 3, then I would do the Azure Afternoon in 3.25 by 3.25, and there'd just be less of the paper showing on either side. What we're going to do is I've cut 3 of the arches in Azure Afternoon, and we're going to be putting these on there, and they're going to fold in together. So let me take this off of here right now so you can kind of see how the fold is going to go. It's going to go like this and like this, like a Z fold. Let's see, here's my bone folder. And Mary did this card in the last week or so, and she did it with the wood grain, the new paper, that woven textures or whatever paper. No, yeah, I think it's woven textures. Um, so this will go on here like this. And so when the card is closed, all of these are going to line up. And then when you open it, you're going to have one on each one of these that you can stand it up. All right. What I decided to do was in my middle one, I'll show you what I did when I show my cards at the end. Let's see, we can go this and I can go back to comments. Yeah, I love the arches too. So I'm playing with those today, Tammy, because I just love them. What I decided is in this middle one, if I cut another one, and I ended up embossing this, I don't even know if this is still active or not. I didn't even look it up because I did it this morning. I'm like, I got to cut one more of these and I have to cut it. And then what I decided to do is I was going to bring my paper trimmer in and I'm going to make a little pocket with that. So I'm going to cut the top part off. I'm going to maybe go 2¼ inches for my pocket. Why didn't I just cut it? Well, it has the little stitching and it kind of matches up perfectly with it. If I do this and then just put a little bit of our tear and tape, and then I can take a gift card and I can pop it right inside of there to make that a gift card holder. Okay, so that's the fun pattern that's on there. I think it's called Playful Patterns. Again, I don't even know if you can still get it. What is the size that you watch? I have really been loving the Azure Afternoon lately, Mary. Yeah. What is the size that you watched, Mary? Okay, so the size that I used, sorry, I think this is what you're asking. It's the fourth largest one. Okay, now what is the site that you watched? It's Stamps and Lingers. It's like Stamp the N, and then Linger. Okay, Stamp and Linger. And if you just put her name in, it's like death, Death, and then Erage, Deathridge, I think, is how you spell her last name. And if you do a Google search for that, you should find it as well. She used the third largest, but I felt that it went too far out to the side that I didn't see enough of my designer paper in here. So I opted to use the third largest, or fourth largest, I mean. Fourth from the largest. So from the largest one in, I should say. Okay. So my thought was to put this on here and make this a gift card holder. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a circle punch. And I have a bunch of my circle punches at school right now because kids were doing a STEM project and we needed circles for wheels because they were making cars. But I'm going to go ahead and just cut out a little bit of this to make like a finger thing where you can pull the gift card out once we glue that down. All right, so let's glue this down right away. So I'm just gonna put this right up to the edge. Now, if you feel like you need a little bit more space, here's a little trick. Stamps and Lingers. Yep, thank you, Gian. Love it when you guys help each other out. Okay, you could go and put like half of it on here and use a silicone mat. Because when you take that off, you can put it back on itself. I'll show you in just a second here. So this doesn't stick, it will not stick to this silicone mat. Okay, so this one I put all the way over, but if you didn't want to put it all the way over, when you take this off, you can take this and then just fold it back onto itself because it's sticky on both sides, and then it'll hold it that way. That way you have a little bit thinner. You can also online, you could do a search for two-sided tape and you can get this actually. I think Mary gave me one in something that's a quarter of an inch. I think this is a half an inch. That would be a quarter of no, this might be a quarter of an inch. That might be an eighth of an inch that she gave me. A real tiny one. Okay, and then if I match this up on the bottom, and maybe you would want to do the little pocket in a different color. It's entirely up to you how you think you would want to do it. Just want to make sure that I have this matched up here. There we go. And there we go. Because it'll look funny if the little lines for the stitching don't match up completely. And they're not. I don't know why it's not matching up completely. It should, because I did the same size. Unless I accidentally cut a bigger one. I might have cut just one that was a little bit bigger. Okay, but that goes there, and then you can pop this right in there, and that can go in there as your little gift card holder. All right, let's figure out what we're going to do with the rest of it. So I have a scrap, a couple of scraps actually. All right, I'm going to put this away. Let me bring some of the stamps in here. Now, some of these I put on really big blocks because my blocks are, a lot of them are being used right now for my card buffet, which is next weekend. And I started pulling things out. Look at this baker's twine. This is, has some Azure Afternoon. This is a new color. That's going to be a new in color, Strawberry Slush, and then Shy Shamrock. We already had a Strawberry Slush, so I'm thinking it's the same one. All right, I'm going to grab my Memento ink. Anyone see where what I did with that? I put the other colors over there, but I thought I kept the Memento out. Let's see. How can one little space get so scattered and filled with things in such a short period of time, right? What did I do with my black ink? It has to be here. I just used it. So I have these two colors. I don't know where the black one went. How did I lose it? Oh, you know what? It's here. Oh my goodness. It's in the stamp with all the stamps. Oh, all right. I'm going to stamp this really big cupcake in Memento ink. Isn't that cool? And I don't know what I'm going to do because I had a bunch of balloons there. I'm going to stamp the balloon and we'll see if we decide to put it somewhere. Because we're going to kind of be making this up as we go along. And then I'm going to take the happy birthday greeting and we're going to fussy cut this out, but I want this to be in Blueberry Bushel. And you could use any of the colors that are in there, really. We're going to cut around that so that it fits a little bit better. It didn't fit real well on mine. And then we're going to do our Make-A-Wish. Is going to be in Blueberry Bushel. Good thing I looked. I'm going to do that right across the top. Like that. And our cupcake's going to go right in there. And then on our last piece, you know what? Maybe I could do that in here too. I could go to another stamp set and find something that says for you or does something like that. But we have this fun, and I'm going to do this in Blueberry Bushel. I should have done this before I put the pocket on. We'll just do a little bit of that up on the top. And then our gift card can still go in there and it looks like it's a little party thing going on. right? And we'll do that on the top of this as well. This is really long here. Let's do like that. We'll just kind of have it all kind of going off that way. It's not how I did my other one, but that's all right. We're just kind of winging that here. And I'm also going to take, this is a little, looks like the little light from the candle, and I didn't want to do that in black. So I have some of our Daffodil Delight, and I'm just going to, I found it hard to match that right on top of it. You almost had to stamp because they're not photopolymer. So I ended up stamping it and fussy cutting that out. All right, let's get our blends in here. So I have a whole bunch of blends, but I did do a bunch of balloons the last time when I made this. Let's see. Wow, I have some strawberry slush that I got from somebody. I'm wondering what is the new. I know, I don't know what the other. We'll find out this week because this week is the big on stage in Raleigh, and that's where they will unveil the new catalog, and they will also show what the new in colors are going to be. So it'll be interesting to see what they will be. I'm trying to think here. I did blue and I did pink. How about if we do green on the bottom because lemon lime is in there, lemon lime twist, and let's do pink on the top, and we'll do blue for our candle. That way, we're still getting all those different colors in because I had different colored balloons. Okay, so I'm starting with, oh, this doesn't have a very good tip on it. And then this is our light. And I'm just going to come in and swirl that in. I loved the in colors that were released last year. I just love so many of them and I use them all the time. That it's going to be hard to beat that. From the year before, I really liked, let's see, well, I have some, yeah. From the year before, I really liked the boho blue. The Moody Mauve on certain things I really liked. Um, the Pebble Path was okay, but I always felt like I could have used either Smoky Slate or I could have used um, Basic Gray in place of it. It does look a little bit nicer with like a crumb cake, to layer it with a crumb cake because there is like a little bit, I wouldn't say there's brown in it, but there's some of those tones in it. Okay, I like that. Very colorful, right? And then I'm taking, this is the dark blueberry bushel, and then I'm going to take the light azure afternoon, I think. And I'll just every other stripe in the candle do that. So we're getting both of those colors in as well. I just love this cupcake. I did it as a card for my card buffet as well. Okay, and then let's do a pink, berry burst balloon. This is the dark. I'm just bringing some dark in here, and then I'm going to come in with the light. Kind of mix that in so that you don't see that line. Usually doing it like a circular motion and then pulling it into the rest of it works. I don't know if I'm going to use this balloon. We'll see. I know, Gian, boho blue. I had somebody made a comment. I think it was Sarah Marquardt, I think, because she loves blue. She anytime I have cards that are blue, she always picks the blue cards. And I think she's the one that commented on last week when I said boho blue was retiring. She's like, no. But you know what? When they do a color refresh, some of those colors that were really popular that everybody was missing end up coming back. So, like lemon lime twist is an example of that. Like, that was an in color that when they did a color refresh, they were like, this is a color palette or a color from a family of colors that we need to bring back because it goes with so many things. And so, as much as a demonstrator, as much as I hate when they do a color refresh, and hate is a pretty strong word, but it's hard because you have to redo so much to have everything and try to remember what goes with what family. Isn't that cool? This does not have dies, so you do have to fussy cut these out, which is a little bit of a headache, but it's not too bad. Um, but as much it's just a headache because I have to reorganize everything, and I have to sometimes they move things into different families, and I have like my ink pads all have a label on them as to which little compartment they go in. All my paper has a label on it. So then I have to redo those labels. And then I have them in the colors of the rainbow instead of by families. And so then I have to sometimes change like where everything is and get used to all of that again. Basically, it's me getting old and I can't remember anything anymore, so it's harder to to adapt to change, right? Hi, Joan. I know, I wish they had dies for these images as well. Now, we've got a couple of options. We could put the balloon here, and we're going to put our words over that. Let's cut these out. These were just a little bit. Just like I said with the last one, it looked like it was cramped on there, and I didn't like how that looked, how it looked cramped. So I kind of made an executive decision that I was going to stamp the words and fussy cut around them because I felt then if it hung off a little bit, it looked better than being stamped right on the paper and looking like it's going to fall right off the edge, like it was barely long enough to get it on there. Okay, so if I wanted to, I could even pop these up with some dimensionals, even though it's on the inside, because when it opens up and the person is displaying it, being popped up on dimensionals would look really nice. So I just take and I move my paper and I kind of go along with the curves of the letters when I do this. We do have some stamp sets that will stamp the greetings out for you. I also could have looked in another stamp set and found a different happy birthday that fit a little bit better. But this was at like about 11:30, 12 o'clock last night, and I wasn't at my most creative anymore. I think we could do that and have it go right over the top of it like that. I like that. And then we'll just leave this as it is, and we'll put our, oops, I gotta cut out that yet. We'll put this and we'll light our candle with the little, this right here. Almost forgot about it. It's not really dark like the black is of the other one. Now, the color that's in this paper is not Daffodil Delight, it's Lemon Lolly, but the Daffodil Delight was just a little bit darker, so I chose to go with that. And I might, if I had to do it again, might have even picked a crushed curry because that would be even a little bit darker. And I'm just going around these lines. So there's a little bit of fussy cutting involved in this. Whoa, where did it go now? Here it is. All right, and then it's gonna go on here. That's just gonna go right on there. And I found that I liked it best when I had it, the cupcake going straight on and that going on at an angle a little bit. All right, so let's go ahead and pop this up and start putting this card together. Did a lot of talking today. I'm sorry about that. Yes, we do have a lot of blues. Somebody just said we have a lot of blues. We do, because we have the Azure Afternoon, we've got the Blueberry Bushel, we've got Misty Moonlight, we've got Night of Navy. So really, yeah, we do, and we've got then Pool Party, and you've got uh what's the other one that I'm thinking of? Not Bashful Blue. Kelly was using Bashful, she kept saying Bashful Blue. Um, Balmy Blue. So we really do, you're right. We do have a lot of blues. So I love how boho blue looks with Misty Moonlight. And Misty Moonlight's one of my favorite colors. Okay, let's get some Wink of Stella and put that in our cupcake frosting here. And then also, let's wink this up so that it sparkles. All right, we are ready to, I think, let's put this on here. Almost ready to put this together. I'm going to pop that up, and then I think I'm going to take a glue dot and put a glue dot on the bottom. Yeah, if I can find my glue dots. The struggle is real right now. I really do have to start by cleaning, because right now I don't know how you can get such a mess. Like, it was clean. The area that I was working in was really clean when I started this morning. But I just have so much stuff sitting here for these cards that it's like, where in the world did I put here? Let's just do this. I'll just put a little dab of glue at the bottom here. Sure, I will. There we go. I'll just take the. You guys laughing with me? Can you relate to me at least? Is your room looking the same way? Or am I the only one? Like, really, how can I've only been on here for like an hour? How can it get to be that much of a mess in an hour? I mean, it wasn't perfect when I came on, but I at least had things cleared away. I'm going to go ahead and cut some of these in half. These are my mini ones. So the way I'm doing this inside is very different than how I did it last night. I'm being much more creative this morning than I was last night when I was tired. Oh, Nancy, yours looks like that all the time. Mine right now is one of those, like, I don't want anyone to see it. So it definitely, the whole place has to be cleaned this weekend, because I've got paper that's a mess. I've got so much that's a mess right now. Okay. So there is that. Look at that. And then let's put a little Wink of Stella. I don't know where my Wink of Stella went. Does anyone see it here? I'm going to go ahead and pull a different one. I don't know where my one that I had was. I have a couple of those sitting here. Let's see. Here we go. It's right here. Okay. Are you guys telling me where it was? Oh, Michelle, she's loving her vacation, but missing her craft room. I know. When I go on my vacations too, it's like, it's nice to get away, but you get to a point where it's like, I feel like I need to be crafty again, right? Okay, let's go ahead and layer all of this stuff. we are ready to put this card together because I don't want to lose anything else before it gets put together. That's going to go on there. And I did that one on the front. This kind of had a white background, that had a white background, and the other one was more solid. So I put the solid one in the middle. That's how I chose where I was going to put things. Okay, and then here's our middle one. Everybody's telling me where my Wink of Stella is. Thank you guys. I found it. The thing is, those comments come so late that sometimes I just give up by the time you guys come. There's about a 30-second delay on them, and it's hard for me to be patient and wait sometimes. Definitely need to clean first, then do taxes, and then I'll allow myself to stamp. If I get all of that done, and then tomorrow I can stamp all day if I want. All right, now, when you put these on, the biggest thing is you have to make sure that you stay under 5.5. I found that because this was only 3.5 instead of being 4.25, that it looked a little bit better to put it at about 5.25. So 5.25 is about right there. So I just put it on my grid paper and made sure that I was at 5.25. And I'm just going to go ahead and put a couple of strips down here. And then I put a strip right there so that it was right at the edge, so I didn't have to guess where that was on here. And now I'm going to, here's my 5.25 right there. I'm going to center that so I've got about the same amount of DSP on both sides and pop that down. I'm going to do that same thing on here. I'm going to put this along the bottom. I'm going to put my gift card in the center, and my 5.25 is about right there. And if I center this, they should line up. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to do that and that. Is this the same size? Yeah, it is. Okay. So I'm along the bottom. I'm at 5.25 is right here. And line them up on the right and the left. And when I close this, they should line up. Look at that. And do the same thing here. Put a couple of, whoops, we'll just go like this. So I don't have to change that right now. You guys have been patient enough with me. Hope you don't mind that I'm running over quite a bit. And then we're going to go to 5.25. Center it between the DSP on either side. And now that lines up. It's okay that that balloon hangs off the side. That's a little bit different than what I had. I had just balloons in the center here, but I like how this looks better than how I had it even. All right, let's see what we do with some gems. I had some gems here. They were in the little bucket. When I took them out, or when I took this out, what did I do with them? I'll just go grab some more of them because I have more of those in my thing. It would be quicker. Just gotta find which drawer they're in. I think they're in this. Oh, maybe I don't have more of those. Yeah, I do. Iridescent faceted gems I love. So I do have some other ones. See, I knew I had a couple of packs. All right, I'm going to take the small one. I'm going to put it at the center of my candle to kind of hold that in place with the little flame. And then I'm going to take two bigger ones. I'm going to put one on that end and one on this end. And if you wanted to, you could add more. All right, so make a wish. Happy birthday with a little gift card in the center. All right. Envelope. I didn't do anything with my envelope, but let me grab a piece of that designer paper that I have left over that I cut for this card. Let's see. Well, I didn't cut this, but I have a whole piece here. We'll just go ahead and throw some of that on there for all those colors. Very colorful. Could also do a balloon. You guys have been so patient with me. First for the whole Lila story, and now for putting this card together. There's so much that you could do with these everyday arches with those. I really feel like they're a very versatile die set. That goes with that. I had, let's see what it is. Here it is. So this was a card that we did when I went to Fond du Lac for that demonstrator event with Christine Bertram. And here we used, and I don't know what I did with the other card. Oh, it's right here. I'll show you what I did with it. I think that's it. So we cut this out and then we ended up embossing it with an embossing folder and put the DSP behind it. And then we made a second card. I think nope, this is a different one. That's a different one, sorry. Because we made a second card where we used the arches and created a card with that. Here, we could do like this. So here's a card that I made. Okay, so you could take the inside piece that you cut out of here and put it on a different card. I embossed that with a different embossing folder so that you're not wasting things. You can use it as like a see-through window and then take the part that you took out and use that on a card like we did here. So there's a lot of different versatility that you have with these dies. So here's one card that we did. Here's a combination. This was a card buffet card that I did. I found that one online. I did not make that. I don't know who did though. I usually don't like showing cards online unless I can give credit to who made it, but I did copy that from somebody. So those are our two cards today. One with our Dutch door fold, and then this is a fun little fold that you could use. Like I said, you could give this to a teenager. I would give this to my niece who's a teenager. You could give this to a boy. You maybe wouldn't want to do little sparkly things, but otherwise a cupcake, that's food, right? And a balloon, and a gift card. Who doesn't like a gift card, right? So those are our cards for today. Let me get my light. And I will come back to you. Oh my goodness, I just knocked my whole camera out of the way here. We'll come here, do this, then it doesn't matter. I'm back. All right, thank you guys so much for watching me today. I do want to let you know that I do have my card buffet next weekend. So I have that in the morning. So it'll probably be about 12:30 or 1 o'clock. It kind of depends on how many people I have coming that day. If I only have a couple of people that are here in the morning, they can usually get things done a little bit faster because they're not having to share with as many people. There's usually not as much talking and more working that gets done then too. But I'll kind of let you know once I have everybody signed up for my buffet, if it's going to be 12:30 or if it's going to be 1 o'clock. So that's next Saturday. Then I'll be here for one more Saturday at the regular time. And then I'm finally getting to go on vacation. So our school's on spring break this week. So the teachers are gone, the students are gone. Peace and quiet. We're going to get a lot of work done. But one of the coworkers that I have that's in our tech department, his kids are in the system. And so since they're off, he wants to take off, which I totally get. You get so few times where your whole family can be off and be able to do something. So they're going on vacation this week. And so then in 2 weeks, after 2 weeks after we get back, then I will go. Okay. I would have been upset. Please find another girl. Michelle. Yes, I will be finding probably a different groomer. It was kind of you might be watching this. Looks like, yeah, you might be watching. You're not up to the live. So, yeah, it was a fiasco. So, anyhow, thank you guys so much for all your great comments. Hadn't scrolled down. I realized I missed a whole bunch, but I'm going to look to see. Um, I made birthday cards yesterday, and my hubby asked if I had something new. So does that mean you keep using the same stuff for masculine cards? I know that I do a lot of the times. I did bring, when I went into the room the other day, oh, I know what I was going to do. These were the cards that I did for my team meeting. So this is kind of similar to the one we did last week. This is a different stamp set. It says it's enough if all you do today is survive. And then on the inside, it says inhale and exhale. And this is a tent card. So it opens like that. And then this I got from somebody. And again, I can't give the person credit. So it was a different fun fold that I had never seen before. It opens that way. And then it opens this way again for your card. So those were the ones that my team made. And Michelle, I'll be getting yours in the mail. And Debbie, if you're on here, I will be getting yours in the mail. I'm glad to hear, Michelle, that you're still in Punta Cana. No, Puerto Vallarta, because I was going to put them in the mail this week and I just did not have time. So I will wait on that. So it hopefully will be there when you get home. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching me. If I go back and I see that there are questions that I missed, I will try to answer them. I know that you guys are pretty good about also answering each other. So I appreciate that, because when you get stamping, sometimes it's hard to pay attention to everything. So you guys have a great weekend. Try to find some time to be crafty. I'm going to clean this mess and that mess and this mess and the mess on my floor. And then I'm going to do Texas. It should be a fun day. Then if I get that all done, my reward will be to be crafty tomorrow. So you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.